Changing gear. To drive safely, you must combine the skill of knowing how to change gear with knowing when to change gear, as well as which gear to select. These are skills which take time and practice to acquire. The gear positions. You need to know the various positions of the gear lever without having to look down. You can practice and get to know the gear position with the clutch disengaged and the engine switched off. A light but firm touch should be all you need to move from one gear to another. Never force the gear lever. On some gearboxes, you might require slight pressure to select some gears. First to second, you might need to put a little pressure to the left on the gear lever when you change up from first to second gear. This is to prevent the lever slipping into fourth while passing through neutral. Down to first. You may need to put slight pressure to the left when you change down from third or second gear to first. Up to fifth or sixth. You need to put pressure to the right when you change up to fifth or sixth gear. Don't force the gear lever. If you feel resistance, don't force the gear lever into any position. Don't rush gear changes. 2. Take the eyes off the road when you change gear. 3. Coast with the clutch pedal pressed in or the gear lever in neutral. Or 4. Hold the gear lever longer than necessary. Now we're going to go to the next discussion, which is changing up gears. When to change up. You'll need to change gears in order to match the engine speed and load to the speed of the vehicle. This will vary with the vehicle you're driving and whether you're moving on the level, uphill or downhill. As a general rule, change up as the road speed increases. Listening to the engine helps to determine when to change up. You'll become more familiar with this as you practice and will soon learn to recognize the appropriate level of sound at which to change gear. To change up, 1. Place your left hand on the gear lever. 2. Press the clutch pedal right down at the same time as you ease off the accelerator pedal. Don't take your foot off the accelerator altogether. 3. Move the gear lever to the next higher position required. 4. Let the clutch pedal come up smoothly and at the same time press the accelerator gradually. 5. Put your left hand back on the steering wheel, matching engine and road speed. Releasing the accelerator when changing up lets the engine speed drop to match the higher gear to give you a smooth gear change. Being able to judge when it's time to change up comes with experience. Changing down. When to change down. You'll need to change down to a lower gear. 1. If you're slowed down and the gear you're in doesn't provide enough power for driving at the lower speed. 2. If you're going uphill in too high a gear and your engine labours or struggles to give enough power. 3. To increase the effect of the engine braking, for example, when on a long downhill gradient. Driving in a high gear at low speed makes engine performance sluggish and is bad driving practice. Unless you intend to stop, you'll need to change to a lower gear once you've slowed down. As a general rule, use the brakes to reduce speed before changing down to the most suitable gear for the lower speed. In the early stages of learning to drive, it may help you to become used to the gearbox if you change down for each of the gears in turn. Use your driving instructor to help guide you on this. When changing down, you might need to 1. Raise the engine speed to get a smooth change, or 2. Keep a light pressure on the foot brake to stop the vehicle gathering speed on a downhill slope. To change down, you need to 1. Place your left hand on the gear lever. 2. Press the clutch pedal down and at the same time keep a little pressure on either the accelerator pedal or the foot brake, whichever is appropriate to the road and traffic conditions that you're experiencing at the time. 3. Move the gear lever to the most suitable lower gear for the speed. 4. Let the clutch pedal come up smoothly. Return to the accelerator or continue braking as necessary. And 5. Put your left hand back to the steering wheel. Never rush gear changes. Smooth, even movements are best. How much pressure is needed on the accelerator or foot brake when changing down will depend on 1. The road and traffic conditions, and 2. The speed of your vehicle at the time the clutch pedal is released. The sound of the engine will help you judge this. Finding the right gear. To change gear, you need to anticipate and assess the situation well in advance. Ask yourself if the gear you're in is correct for that particular situation. Overtaking. You should consider changing to a lower gear to overtake. A lower gear can give you the extra acceleration to pass safely. Try to avoid gear changing when you're actually overtaking. It's preferable to keep both hands on the wheel during the maneuver. Your engine is more responsive in a lower gear and will therefore give you better vehicle control. Going downhill. When descending a steep hill, a lower gear gives more engine braking and control, particularly on a bend. General rule. You should change down to accelerate more quickly, and 2 if your speed drops. Smooth gear changing. Smooth gear changes are a mark of a good driving. Take your time and think ahead. Selective or block gear changing. Missing out gears. The flexibility of modern engines and the efficiency of braking systems and gearboxes often make it unnecessary to change into every gear when changing up and down the gearbox. Missing out gears at the appropriate time will give you more time to concentrate on the road ahead and allow you to keep both hands on the steering wheel for longer. Changing down. As a general rule, it's preferable and safer to brake to the desired speed and then change down into the appropriate gear. It might be necessary to maintain a light pressure on the foot brake while changing down. Changing up. There are many occasions when missing out gears while changing up is desirable. However, don't accelerate too fastly or for too long in the lower gears. This uses much more fuel. 2. Could damage your engine. And 3. Could cause wheel spin and loss of control. How many gears to miss out? It depends on the individual vehicle and the road and traffic conditions. It's possible to miss out various gears, but the most common examples of when changing down are 5th to 3rd, 4th to 2nd, 3rd to 1st. The most common examples of changing up are 1st to 3rd, 2nd to 4th, 3rd to 5th.